What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Screen Kings. That is Jeremy, and my name is Christian. And today we are going to be reviewing for you guys the new James Gunn directed Superman. It stars David Cornsweet, and it also stars Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Guys, we do want to let you know that this will be a spoiler review. So, we're going to be talking in detail about this movie. So, if you don't want to know anything about Superman before you go in to see it, make sure you click off the video and come back to us later once you've seen it. If you don't care about spoilers, well, welcome. We're going to be talking Superman and all sorts of spoilers. So, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on Superman of 2025?
I I thought it was very mid.
Yeah,
I thought that it didn't really give a good start to the new DCU personally.
I agree.
Um I thought it fell flat in the comedy aspect,
Hmm.
in the character development aspect, in the acting aspect for some of the people, storyline aspect. Um I think the main reason I would watch it again if I had to
Hmm.
is Lex Luthor.
You really liked Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor?
I really did. I enjoyed his performance a lot, and I know we're gonna get into it more, but I think that he stole the show for me personally.
Okay. I want to preface this by before I share my thoughts on this film. I want to say that I'm not a Zack Snyder fan. I did not really care for his interpretation of the Superman character per se. I thought he was a little too stoic and a little bit too cardboardy for me. Maybe that was just
Not
Henry
even,
Cavill.
not even his Justice League.
No, I didn't care for I
Mm.
didn't care for his interpretation of Superman. So I'm not one of those people coming in just to hate on this film. I actually had very high expectations. I got my Funko here with me, my David Cordsweat Superman Funko. I
Oh
bought a
man,
costume and wore it to the showing that we saw together. It was my
he was the
third
only
most.
one in costume.
Yes, I was the only one in costume. I
Mhm.
felt out of place, but all this criticism comes from a place of love because I actually had high expectations for this film. Okay. I just want to put that out there. It was my third most anticipated movie for this year. So I was championing James Gunn. I love the casting of David Cordsweat. So just know any criticism that I heap on this film uh, comes from a place of love. But I was so disappointed in this film, Jeremy. I was so disappointed in this film. And I don't even know where to begin. I guess to start off with some of the positives is I think the casting all around is great for this Superman, from Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor to David Cornsweet as Superman, even the actress that plays Lois Lane, or some of those
Rachel
other
Brosnan,
side. Yep, yep. Or the guy that
hmm
plays the Green Lantern. I thought he was very
Nathan
good.
Fillion.
Nathan Fillion, yep. And then I
Hmm
thought Mr. Terrific was pretty cool. Like, I think the casting all
mm
around, I think the casting all around was great. I think where this movie really lets us down as an audience is the screenplay. I think James Gunn did not write a good Superman film. Um, I This almost feels to me when watching this film, it feels like it's a Superman comic. It feels like it's a comic book, like something plucked from a comic book, which is cool,
hmm
but it almost feels like a side or C level comic book storyline that was adapted to the screen. It didn't resonate for me.
I I can definitely agree with that. I think it felt very excuse me. It felt very comic book accurate,
Yeah.
but not a good movie. And like in the sense of like screenplay, like you said. Um I had high hopes, honestly,
Yeah.
because I enjoyed all of the Guardians movies.
For sure, dude.
I enjoyed did he did the Suicide Squad, right?
The Suicide Squad with the one
Okay,
with
yeah.
Idris Elba. Yeah,
Yeah,
Polka
I
Dot
like
Man,
that
all
one
that.
more than the first one. I like that one more than
Yeah.
the first one. So I had high hopes, and I think this was probably his worst superhero film that he's done.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. I watched this film and I was like, man, I cannot believe that the new kickoff to the DCEU, what we all had our faith in, is James Gunn's worst superhero film. And I'm not the biggest fan of Guardians
Yeah.
2. I've come around to it
Mhm.
more recently in the coming years as I rewatched it. But Superman is not as good as any of the Guardians movies. It's not as good as the Peacemaker show, and it's not as good as the Suicide Squad.
No, it's
Um,
not.
so I mean, I think one of my, I mean, we're talking spoilers, so I'm just gonna dive right into it. One of
Yeah.
my biggest problems with this film, and this is not even a spoiler, is so we're plopped right into the action. It's not an origin story. You're just kind of jumped right into year 3 of the Superman story. And I have
Mhm.
no problem with that, except we don't really we know Superman. We're familiar with Superman because we've seen the other Superman movies, but we're not familiar with this Superman. We're not
Mm-mm.
familiar with this Lex Luthor, and we're not familiar with this Lois Lane and these other characters. So you're kind of plopped in, and then that relies on the script and the dialogue to catch you up. So at the
Yep.
beginning part of this movie, it's a lot of exposition dialogue where they're telling you about certain things that happened, or they're telling you why they did certain things, and I just think that's not good writing.
I agree. I think some of the scenes went on for way too long. I
Mhm,
think the scene where Lois first interviews Clark as Superman,
mhm, mhm.
that felt dragged out.
Okay.
I I think I just it just felt like they were filling time. It didn't have to be 2 hours and 9 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it was.
See, and I think that's the problem with this film is that I one of the major complaints I have with this film is it's just too overstuffed. We're getting introduced to this new DC universe. That's a big thing in and of itself. And then we're getting introduced to a major DC character in Superman who comes with a
Mhm.
lot of different characters: Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, some other people that are part of his normal canon. But then you're throwing in the Justice Gang and all these other side characters. Then you have all these side characters at the Daily Planet,
At the Daily Planet, yep.
and then even outside of that, you got other side characters like I wrote his name down.
Roger
Uranium
or
Man.
Roy?
There was Rory, and then there was Metamorpho. You also throw
Yes.
him in here as
Mhm.
well, and I'm like, okay, there's just way too much going on that we don't really have an opportunity to develop and focus on the reason we came to see the Superman movie, and that is Superman. There's no
Yep.
depth to the characters. They're all kind of one note. And the film progresses from basically you're thrown into an action sequence and there's no build over the story. It's just
No.
basically, hey, we're going from one action scene to another. One scene is happening one right after the other, and nothing really builds. He's just kind of thrown in to the climax. I mean, you're going from one
Yep.
scene and then you enter the third act, and it's like, oh, we're at the third act already. I mean, there's no really build up. There's no lows and highs of the narrative. It almost feels like you're watching an episode of the Superman cartoon, which for
Yeah.
some people might be cool, but this is a movie where we need to get introduced to these characters. We need to know their motives. Why does Lex Luthor not like this Superman? Yeah, he might spout
Mhm.
some dialogue at the end to tell us why, but like we're not really experiencing everything is being told to us through like exposition or through dialogue, which I did not care for.
Yep. And I said it when the trailer first dropped. I said there are too many characters in this thing.
Yeah, you did say that.
When the first trailer dropped, I saw Green Lantern, I saw Hawk Girl, um, Mr. Terrific. It felt overstuffed already, and I was
Yeah.
like, there are too many characters. I was like, I know, and I think either after the movie or before the movie, you had said, well, he's worked with the Suicide Squad, and the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
so he's used to like big ensemble cast. And I'm like, this feels different. This feels different. I don't know what it was, but when I first saw that
Uh-huh.
trailer, I was like, I don't know.
You know
You
what?
know,
I had hope in James Gunn. He had done these other
yeah,
team up movies, and I think what I'm starting to realize is that Superman is not supposed to be a team up movie when we're first
no,
introducing him in the new DCEU. It should not have been a team up movie from the jump. This is
it should have
supposed
been
to
a
be
Superman
DC's
movie.
Iron Man 1.
Yep.
This is not this is not that. And
This is not their Iron Man one. This is maybe their I don't know, Age of Ultron.
it almost feels like this movie was like the third movie in the Superman genre where
Yeah,
we've got introduced to these characters already, and this is kind of a
yeah,
third story in his filmography.
life. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
this is
it's not.
the first. It's the
And
first, and I just feel like he could have done so much better. That's all I'm gonna say.
the this is the thing. Like I think what I've started to realize after watching it is that
Mhm.
I really like James Gunn's humor and his style in Guardians and Suicide Squad because it fit those ragtag characters. But after
Yeah.
seeing the movie, I'm like, dang, I don't know if I care for James Gunn's humor
Well, these are
in a
not
Superman film.
ragtag characters. These are not
Yeah,
ragtag characters. These are like higher up people, very they work for a newspaper. They're
yeah,
like very artistic people, creative people versus the Guardians are like literally people that are almost like forgotten about and they come together. And
yeah,
those are two different things. Same with the Suicide Squad. Prisoners who are forgotten about and come together, you know?
yeah,
This one they're not a ragtag group. Like even the Justice Gang, they're not a ragtag group. They've apparently are established heroes in that
yeah. In this
universe,
world,
in this world, and the humor did not work. I laughed maybe twice,
I
if
got a
that.
chuckle here and there. I got a chuckle here and there, but I think for James Gunn, I was shocked because normally he has such a way of balancing tones,
Hmm.
serious moments, dramatic moments with action, cool action, with lighthearted comedy, with heartfelt moments. And I didn't get any of that in this Superman film.
No,
It was mostly jokes, and it's jokes that didn't land. Even like an
at
example,
all.
and this is spoilers, at the end when Superman's like, I'm just a human as well, trying to do my best as a human. I was like, okay, we're getting some emotional beats, like I'm starting to feel in. And then as they don't let it breathe, as soon as he says that, Crypto comes in and gives Lex Luthor the Loki treatment and starts to bang him all around,
Literally,
and it
I
undercuts whatever emotional moment we were trying to have with Superman, and that seems like to happen in the whole film. The film focuses on things it shouldn't focus on in lieu of other things, and then it undercuts
yeah,
any serious tension.
any serious tension. And
Yeah,
honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was funny. It
yeah.
just came at a bad moment. Like it came at a bad moment. I don't know. I was cracking up
Well,
between that and the part where the dictator is like running and they're like, no, we need to go to the bunker. And he's like, bunker, I will not bunker. And then Hawk Girl comes and throws some person down the hallway. And he turns around and he's like, hey, bunker, bunker, bunker. Um, those were the only two scenes where I like chuckled, but like the humor did not work. And honestly, for a movie that's supposed to be funny, our theater was very quiet.
yeah, it
Like it
was
wasn't
quiet. And
just us. It wasn't just us.
no, it's this film doesn't really provide the laughs that I expected
No,
or the heart. Like there's only
or the
one
heart.
scene in this film, and you see it in the trailer, that I can think of that provides any emotional umph that I'm
Is
looking
that the
for.
dad talking to
Yes, when
Clark?
Papa Ken is talking to Clark, there you start to feel a little emotion in that connection, but the scene is so brief that again it didn't hook me in. And they're not
Yeah,
in this film a lot at all.
they're
Like
not.
like I said earlier, this film decides to focus on characters that I don't need to know right now and it sacrifices really getting to know the characters we should be getting to know, like Lois Lane, like Superman, like Lex Luthor, like his biological parents,
Hmm.
Jor-El, which they did something in this movie I didn't really care for, and also the Clarks as well. Like we barely get to know or get any depth with these characters because
At
the
all.
film is all over the place. I mean, it has commentary on social media. Uh, Superman is being judged on online. So that's a plot
Hmm.
point. And then there's a whole war in these other two countries that Superman stopped, and there's that whole thing. And then there's Lex Luthor trying to do his thing. And then there's dimensional travel where Ultraman, not Ultraman, well, Ultraman is in this as well, and he's a whole thing. And
Hmm.
in this film, Ultraman is a clone of Superman, and they don't really explain
Hmm.
that well either. He just
Um,
took Superman's hair,
yeah,
and it's a
and
clone
that's how he
bag
gets into the
wig.
fortress. Yeah,
Yes.
that's how he gets into the fortress,
Yeah.
and it didn't work. And also, speaking about the war, really quickly, I
Yeah.
will say I'm glad it came out when it did, because if this
Mhm.
would have came out at the peak of Palestine versus like Israel,
Mhm.
that would not have been good for the movie whatsoever. They would have had to cut some stuff or do some reshoots.
Yeah, because he wrote this
Um,
before there was any like real bad,
well,
conflict.
before it like blew up. Hmm.
But it's hard not to
So
think about life when you're watching the film, just given everything that happens.
yeah,
Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and let us know what you thought of James Gunn's Superman down in the comment section below. Until next time, we'll see you later, and bye bye for now.